Good morning. It's dark outside. It is raining. What a beautiful rain. Rain is a gift right now to us because it's been so dry. Well, yes, Israel is just finishing up their Day of Independence, their 72nd Day of Independence. And so the next day in history, ER5 was the date that a nation was born again in a day. But ER6 is when 6 Arab nations went to war against this brand new state of Israel. Now, they did not have a big army. They didn't have a big military. They didn't have anything. They were a one-day-old nation. And it was full of Holocaust victims. It were like toothpicks. And people didn't have homes. It was horrible. And Israel came to wipe them off the map. And what's described in Psalms 83 is basically what they did. They wanted to wipe Israel off the map. They didn't want that Israel, that the United Nations voted for the plan to give Israel back land. It didn't matter to them. They wanted them off completely. They were really for the Holocaust because there's such a hatred for the Jews with those people. Well, the nations, there was the leader of the Arabs said, I declare holy war, my Muslim brothers. Murder the Jews, murder them all. Now, don't they sound like peaceful nations? No, not when it comes to Israel. When it comes to trying to fool people and lie to the infidels, yeah, that's when they sound so nice. The Jews' secret weapon, there was a weapon that they had, and I'm not even going to try to say it in Hebrew, but it was a word that says, we have no alternative. They had no alternative. They had to fight or they would lose their whole land. So it was a 15-month war. Here they came from right out of the Holocaust. They were coming. They just became a nation. They could celebrate one day, and that was it. And so it was a 15-month war, and 6,000 lives that were not lost in the Holocaust were lost in the War of Independence. And IDF invaded the defeated invaders, and in 1949, the Armistice Agreement was signed. And so it's been wars ever since then. It's been wars of survival. Then in 1967, it was called the Six-Day War. And Egypt's President Nasser said, exterminate the Zionist entity and drown all the Jews in the sea. Now, don't they sound like nice people? No, they hate Israel. And then there was the Yom Kippur War on the holiest day of their year when all the nation was fasting, when the IDF soldiers were fasting. All the nations around them came to exterminate them again. And so there was another thing I found I thought was really very interesting. It's about the numbers, and this is what the rabbis had been saying. When Theodor Herzl in 1897, when he started the Zionist Congress, there was only 50,000 people in the entire state of Israel. Only 50,000 people. But a mystic rabbinic tradition said when Israel reaches the same amount of people in the land, in their promised land. Now, everybody else in the world was calling it Palestine. The Jews are not going to call it Palestine. When they said when they reach the same amount of people as came out of Egypt. Now, remember, we've been talking about for the last couple of weeks how many people came out of Egypt. And it talked about men on foot, 600,000 men on foot. And when they said they reached that number, then God would give them back the land. Well, guess what? On May 14th, 1948, they reached 600,000 people. Not men on foot, not warring men, but they reached 600,000 people. I thought that was interesting. It's kind of you know, some people think that numbers don't mean anything. And I picked up my phone today, and for some reason, I don't know how I got it. I don't know. It was turned to, it's all about numbers. And, you know, God is interested in numbers. He even has a book in his Bible called Numbers. And so this has been fun. Talking about Israel. I love researching on Israel and finding out fun facts, and I hope you do too. God bless you. This is High Five for today. Bye-bye.